I think the easiest thing that founders, first-time founders or people who haven't really are that well versed with AI, what they can do is that just start talking to ChatGPT, and just and the most basic things, content creation for your LinkedIn, for your socials, tell it what you're building. You don't need a strict prompt copied from somewhere else. I think prompt engineering is the biggest bullshit ever.
Hello, this is Alistair, and welcome to the Venture Variety Show. This is a podcast where I talk with founders, investors, and operators about how startups and the stories around them get built. Today, I'm joined by Sharmin Ali. She's an entrepreneur, an investor, and an author. She's built and sold AI startups, she mentors founders worldwide, and she argues that storytelling, not just features, is what wins customers and capital. Her and I get into how lean teams can use AI to ship real products. We talk about how to avoid building Me Too tools, and she says founders can survive the pace without burning out. So let's get into it and say hello to Sharmin. Thanks for joining the show, Sharmin. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much, Alistair, for having me on your show. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. You dabble into a lot of different things, a founder, an investor, an author. Your book came out in July. You're building a lot of things and you're there at the intersection of AI, entrepreneurship, and storytelling. First of all, what's keeping you busy these days with all that going on?
A lot of things, actually, but I'm glad you asked. So my last company, which was called PyPy AI, which was an AI-based video generation platform that got acquired about 8-9 months ago. So for a few months, I was occupied with, all the knowledge transfer and stuff. They wanted me to continue for a few more years, but I had other plans. So I recently just got out of that. Then my third book just came out last month, 22nd of July, which is already a bestseller, and I was feeling glad about it, doing a lot of book readings. Other than that, I've also been mentoring a lot of startup founders on how to make the best use of AI, because I've built 2 companies with AI now. So what platforms to use and how to become an internet sensation, how to create better content, vibe coding, which is the new buzzword now, obviously, and all of these things. So I've been mentoring a lot of startups and figuring out what to do next.
How do you describe yourself when people ask you what you do?
So entrepreneur, author, keynote speaker, angel investor.
You didn't say the name of the book.
It's called Bitch, Stop, Please, An Entrepreneur's Journey of Innovation from Chaos to Clarity.
Storytelling is a big part of what it sounds like you're writing about and what you're advising others. How did storytelling become such a significant component to what you do?
Because I've been in sales all my life. The last 15 years of my career has been in sales primarily. So growth related stuff. So, the one thing that I understood very early on in my career is that if you have to be a better salesperson, you need to be a better storyteller, right?
Mhm.
Because people engage with stories. I mean, although, yes, we do have some sense of logic, but all human beings are driven by emotions because our limbic system, which is the emotional part of our brain, so people don't like analytical numbers and data crunching and stuff. But if you explain the same thing with a story, that
Mhm.
sticks much better. So how do you, make your point stick with your audiences? You have to be a better storyteller. So as a result of that, I think I've read some 300 books on better storytelling and then came out with my own version of how to tell better stories. And it all starts with first being a better listener, right? And how do you influence decision making, be it with your clients, be it with, investors, be it with your team, or anything in life in general. Everything. Storytelling is at the epicenter of it all.
I can imagine that many of the entrepreneurs that you work with might be more on the technical side, let's say,
Mhm.
might be having kind of more of that kind of brain. Do they understand? Do they get when you tell them the the keys to storytelling and the importance? Do they get it?
So, no.
No.
There's a lot of back and forth. But then, yes, most of these founders are very technical, right? Either PhDs from Stanford or Harvard or MIT or something. And now they're building the next big thing in AI, right? But then, having built two AI companies myself, and though I did my engineering, I do understand where those guys are coming from. It's actually, very ironic when I tell them that the guys, you need to be better storytellers first. A CEO's job is to be able to sell himself or herself better. And they're like, why do I need to do that? I can just hire somebody to, do it. And I'm like, no, it starts with first. So there's a lot of questioning, arguing and stuff. But then when they get the formula eventually, they're like, oops, she said it right.
Is there a key to making it sink into them? I think your story about, this coming from a history of, wanting to improve sales, I I mean, is there one thing that really helps make it sink in for the entrepreneur, the importance of narrative, of storytelling, of sharing what you do so it resonates?
Yeah, I mean, first thing is that I tell them my own story, right? My story of struggle, and I'm like, how did I build this? How would I build, three companies, have an eight-figure exit, raise a ton
Mhm,
of money, and then, the whole shebang, right? As in going
mhm.
from chaos to clarity, going from 0 to 1. Like, how do you go the entire route? And then they are like, oh boy, so are you telling me that you raised $3 million with no product? Because we did that at, one of our startups. And they're like, how did you do it? I was like, yes, because I was able to sell my vision much better. I mean, the biggest example of a technical person becoming a great storyteller is Steve Jobs. 1,000 songs in your pocket. That one line is something no one can forget, right? And then the laptop is so light that it just fits into office envelope, right? I mean, amazing. Imagine when you think of that, you're like, oh my God, it's so light, it's so easy to carry. So if you're able to tell stories like this, people can really connect with you better. So I think when I tell them all of these things and then prove my point, they're like, crap, okay, we need your help. Tell me, how do we do it? And then, yes, me and my team starts helping them with their entire storytelling and sort of changing the entire narrative. And yeah, that's how it goes.
You've said it's possible to, build companies with just a handful of people, 3 people, and there's that narrative, and we've all heard various iterations of it. $1 billion a unicorn's gonna be, built one day with one person because of, agentic tech. Walk us through, what is it looking like with founders today who are using AI to handle everything? Not just scheduling, but back office functions,
Yes.
marketing, COO, CM, other responsibilities. Walk us through
Right.
what's
Right.
happening? Yeah.
So, I am advising some 47 startups right now. Exactly 47. Like we keep having calls, here and there. The exact number I'm going to tell you, 30 of them, 30 of those 47 did not even know how to flirt with ChatGPT better. You know
Say
what I
again, 20? I'm sorry.
30 of them didn't even know
30.
how to use ChatGPT to its fullest. Like for them, prompt engineering means, okay, I need to hire a prompt engineer. I'm like, bullshit. You don't even know how to use ChatGPT better. I think the easiest thing that founders, first time founders or people who haven't really are that well versed with AI, what they can do is that just start talking to ChatGPT, and just and the most basic things, content creation, right? For your LinkedIn, for your socials, tell it what you're building. You don't need a strict prompt copied from somewhere else. I think prompt engineering is the biggest bullshit ever. But now there are multiple languages also that are coming out. In fact, ChatGPT understands multiple languages also because I have tried multiple languages, Indian vernacular languages, and it gets it. So I'm like, prompt engineering is the biggest bullshit right now. What you need is start talking to ChatGPT. If you can't, let's say if you can't talk because it is voice enabled, then start typing whatever works better for you.
Mhm.
Start typing, start talking to it and tell it that this is what I'm building. This is my plan. I need to get to, let's say, $10,000 in ARR, sorry, a monthly recurring revenue,
Got
MRR,
it.
next 3 months. And I want to raise so much funding. For example, that's what most startups come to me for. ChatGPT is going to create an entire strategy, right? And then it'll ask you, do you want me to actually put down and draft the content for you? The content that has to go on your socials, the content that has to go in your pitch deck, the content that has to go, let's say, in your email marketing, whatever. It can give you that level of information, right? And it is insane because 50% of your job is done, right? I mean, my life has become so easy. I mean, I want to be married to ChatGPT. You know what I mean? That one platform.
Careful.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy, but in my head, but the amount of possibilities that are there. In fact, ChatGPT 5 now can also vibe code. You know,
Mhm.
so I mean, it'll actually give you the code. Like, dude, you can create a basic MVP, like a really basic one, and sort of show that to an investor and maybe be able to raise $50,000 at least, if you're like really early stage first time founder. The possibilities are endless. Just start with ChatGPT and then you want to, explore other platforms. Like, how do I, the next thing that a lot of founders don't know is that Google ads are not working well anymore.
Mhm.
Now it's either, I mean, yes, it's LinkedIn ads or it's Meta ads, but Google ads have really lost their shine. And what you need to do now is be visible on platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. So let's say if someone puts up a prompt saying, "Give me the list of 5 of the top companies that I should be talking to for vibe coding," right? So if you are a company like Lovable, for example, which is building a vibe coding platform so that others can come to your company and, get the code. So you have to make sure that your SEO is good enough for ChatGPT and for Perplexity to actually pick you, right?
Your
Now,
GEO.
companies, yes, there
Yeah.
are startups which are actually helping you be visible on ChatGPT and Perplexity. Isn't that insane? You know,
Yes,
I am like,
that is.
oh my goodness. There's this one company that I'm mentoring, which is actually doing this very, very early stage, but it's insane, So this is what you need to do to stay relevant. First, flirt with ChatGPT, get all your content, get your marketing, and keep, make sure. I mean, ChatGPT will even do the design, right? I mean, it'll get you all the design, it'll get you the images and stuff. And you just need to keep posting consistently on your LinkedIn, on your Meta, on your socials, etc. And there are a bunch of platforms which will do all of the advertising. You can automate everything, right? So content automation, LinkedIn automation, Instagram automation, and then obviously comes the sales related platforms, right? And then of course, lastly, you don't really need to have someone anymore doing your customer care, right? You can just get a sales, AI SDR talking and sort of pitching. Like when you get a lead, just get an AI SDR to talk to that lead.
We're seeing more sales automation, voice technology is improving. It seems to be at a point now where not only can people may not even be able to tell if they're talking to an AI agent, do they even care?
They don't care. They
They
don't care.
don't care.
Right.
AI can help you do a lot of different things. Do you think that someone who would have no propensity for starting a business can use AI to do this, or is there still some? Do you still need like an it factor, something maybe a little technical knowledge?
So there's a lot of thing going on around vibe coding, right?
Yes.
And me and my co-founder from all of my previous companies, I've had the same co-founder. We've actually tried out a bunch of these platforms. There's a lot of showbiz that okay, I mean, I don't think they are great. They're okay. They're good. I mean, create a landing page, create a website. Yes, all of that can work. And sort of create an okayish MVP of, let's say, if you want an e-commerce platform and things like that. Yes, okayish MVP done. That you can do. Getting to 10K MRR, doable, absolutely, with an okayish MVP. But it's not something like, okay, I want you to create me a platform that can, let's say, help agencies completely overshadow something and just, sort of automate everything for an agency. It cannot do 100% job. It can do a 50% okayish job, but the rest 50% you will still need to have a CTO in house. So tech people are not yet obsolete, but the rate at which things are going, I mean, in the last 2 years, marketing and content people have sort of been rendered obsolete. In the next 2 years, techies are scared, obviously, which makes complete sense, but not yet. So I wouldn't say that you can build something completely. No, you cannot. But I think an okay-ish version to sort of go and raise some funds, yes, you can.
You talk a lot about staying grounded while scaling. Excuse me. Founder survival is a huge component of what you do. What are the keys to surviving and thriving without burning out in today's startup world?
Talk to an AI.
Use AI as therapy. Don't do that.
Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding. But I know a lot of people actually doing it now.
So do I. So yes, I think I might
Yeah.
live with someone who does. No, but to your point, use AI to help maybe with
So,
navigate. Yeah,
I mean,
go
to
ahead.
avoid burning out is such a, it's a massive thing, right? I mean, burnout is real. I used to not believe in it, but now I do because I've gone through a lot of health issues in the last few years. But I think it's important to not be a part of the rat race. I mean, don't go crazy thinking that if I don't get this, then I'm not good enough. I think most startup founders these days are just trying to be a Me Too product instead of actually doing something relevant. Everyone's just building an AI SDR, an AI, chief marketing officer or AI fintech officer. Bullshit. Like, come on. There are a ton of people who've done this, and there are some 10 companies which have raised 30, 40 million. I mean, guys, come on, you're not going to last that long. I mean, those companies have done it already. Now it's important to do something that can really create an impact and not just be another Me Too product, because that bubble is eventually going to burst, right? So do something which can create some real value instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to just do this, raise some money, become another sensation, and then I don't know, right? I think investors are getting bored of it now. So, I mean, you are burning yourself out trying to just be another Me Too product, right? That is one advice that I give every startup which just comes to, sort of, okay, can you help me with my growth, with my sales? I'm like, I don't want to work with you if you're not doing something real, right? So yeah, I think that whole mentality that I just want to do something because I have to do it, that is the biggest factor resulting in burnout. And second, obviously, not knowing how AI can free up 50% of your time,
I
right?
was just going to ask if does it free up time or does it make you work harder because you can put
It
right
does.
so
It does.
many
It does
instructions
free up.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
it
that?
does. It does free up a lot of my time. I mean,
It does.
I post
Okay.
every day on LinkedIn. There's a platform called Feedly. I'm sure people know about it, but I'm just saying it, which will basically keep throwing ideas about what is going on in your current industry. It'll ask you all those questions when you log in. So you get those ideas, and then get AI to write the content for you. And then, so all of that is automated, right? So everything's kind of automated now, right? So all I have to do is then get up, at morning after I've done my chores, 9 a.m., just go post. Right. I mean, even that posting is now being automated. Nothing needs to be done. So it has definitely, marketing has been taken care of. I think marketing was the first field that was so badly disrupted by AI. Next is sales, and then after that, tech, obviously, right? So that is the sort of AI roadmap. But yes, it does free up a lot of my time. I think 50% of my time was freed up because of that. Yeah.
Well, let's end on your book.
It was written by me in 3 months. I was going through a very low period in my life last year. I
Mm.
was in depression, and I didn't know how to channel that negativity. So for me, it was the book.
It seems to be, part memoir, part kind of manual. What kind of message do you want people to get out of the book?
So, it's a very personal story. The
Yes.
first idea was that, okay, so I'll tell you in like 60 seconds. So, I've built 3 startups in the last 11 years. Before that, I worked at a startup for 4 years. So 15 years of like being in the trenches. Now I've learned so many things. So I'm actually launching a new company, and I haven't told this to anyone. So I'll say it here.
Oh, no. Awesome.
It's called Establish.club, which basically is about, how do you go from 0 to 1. It's a course, yes, and it has multiple courses. The first thing is, how do you become $1 million entrepreneur in just 12 months. That is the first course. The second one that I'm launching is about how to build a company with just 3 members using AI, right? Because that is a question that I keep getting all the time. A company with just 3 members using AI, right? Because that is a question that I keep getting all the time. The third course is, how do you build a brand out of yourself, right? And that is something that I'm really excited about. So that, along with the book. So in my book, there is a little mention about, all of these things. I haven't mentioned the name of the company that I just did, Establish.club. My story about how I went from 0 to 1, what all I did. I talk about burnout, and I talk about all the things that entrepreneurs are not doing and what all they can do. It's also a lot of abstract stuff that is there. I mean, anyone who understands literature and sort of has read different kinds of, as in different genres of content, would be able to appreciate what I've written. Yeah.
Great to talk with you, Sharmin, and to hear about the book and what you're doing and to hear your thoughts on AI. It's been really educational. I really appreciate you coming here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alistair.
That was Sharmin Ali. Her through line is simple: sell the vision, do the real work, and let AI remove the busy work while you build. If this episode sparked ideas, please give it a like or a heart or a thumbs up, depending on what platform you're on. And please also subscribe and share it with a founder or an investor who also get value. If you're curious about how AI is shaping work and society, go to YouTube and check out my other podcast, The AI Cognitive Shift, which I produce in collaboration with AInews.com. That's it for now. Thanks for listening.